My breakup didn't start with a scream. Oh no, that would be far too dignified. It started with a Netflix login. Our shared account, the digital equivalent of that one gross sock he left behind, became my whole world. After he was gone, it was just sitting there, a direct peephole into his new life, and I became a religious user. Not a watcher, a user. I'd open the app, my heart doing this sick little lurch on a singular mission. Check the continue watching row. It was my own sad technological Ouija board. My way of asking the universe, is he as miserable as I am? Please say yes. For the first couple of weeks, it was bliss. Our shows were still there. That documentary on cults we bailed on. The sitcom he loved that I secretly thought was brain dead. It was proof. He was suffering. His nights were as silent and empty as mine. I'd hover my thumb over the screen, take a screenshot for my records like a true psycho, and close the app. Okay, he's wallowing. Excellent. This little hobby quickly escalated into a full-time unpaid job with no benefits. The quick check-in became a frantic ritual, a prayer to the gods of mutual misery I performed 50 times a day. My phone would give off these phantom vibrations in my pocket, and I'd have a Pavlovian panic attack, convinced it was a notification that he'd started a new season of something without me. I'd have to duck into a bathroom stall at work, huddled over the toilet like some kind of high-tech drug addict getting their fix. The world outside my screen became blurry and unimportant. I'd find cold, full mugs of coffee I had no memory of making. I'd lie in bed, the blue light of my phone making me look like a stylish corpse, and just refresh. And refresh. And refresh. I was a scientist in a lab coat of my own filth, studying a single unchanging data point, his spectacular loneliness. I wasn't sleeping. I was just on watch. I thought I could manage this. I thought as long as that continue watching row remained a perfect monument to our shared past, I could exist in this state of suspended agony forever. Then, one Tuesday night, the universe decided I hadn't suffered quite enough. I opened the app, my pulse already thumping its familiar rhythm of doom, and there it was. A new tile. A show I'd never seen. Some period piece about people in corsets looking deeply unhappy. And right under the progress bar, the two words that shot me dead. Episode 2. The air just vacuumed out of my lungs. He hadn't just started something new. He was in the middle of something new. With someone new. They had obviously watched episode 1, probably made some witty comments I would have found insufferable, and then, 14 minutes into episode 2, they'd gotten distracted. I saw it all. The couch, a glass of wine, her head on his shoulder. Her, this phantom corset enthusiast who was now squatting in my Netflix account, in my head, in my life. It was such a small, stupid fucking TV show, but it felt like the most violent thing that had ever happened to me. He was overwriting me, pixel by pixel. That was the moment my brain quietly packed its bags and left my body. No dramatic plate smashing, just a quiet, internal implosion. I went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror, at the haunted Victorian child staring back, and was hit by a wave of shame so profound I'm surprised it didn't leave a stain. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was pathetic. I was a digital ghost haunting a streaming service. So I did what any well-adjusted adult would do. I slid down the tiled wall and sat on the cold floor, hugging my knees like a hostage. The silence in the apartment wasn't empty anymore. It was screaming at me. This was rock bottom. And let me tell you, rock bottom has surprisingly grimy grout. After an eternity marinating in my own failure, I crawled to my laptop and typed the Google search of the damned, how to stop being crazy about an ex. I scrolled past the chipper articles and ads for therapists who probably have perfect lives and color-coded feelings. Then, buried deep in some forum from what looked like 1998, a single post. The 7-Day Cognitive Anchor. It sounded like a Scientology recruitment pamphlet. Clinical, cold, like an IKEA instruction manual for rebuilding your shattered soul. The sheer simplicity of it was an insult to the grand operatic scale of my pain. But hey, I was on the floor. My standards were also on the floor. I clicked, day 1, the great disconnect. The instructions were simple and brutal. Log out, everywhere. The Netflix app's sign out of all devices button glowed with the light of 1,000 dying suns. It was my only window, but the protocol said the window was the poison. Fine. I held my breath, squeezed my eyes shut, and pressed it. A confirmation screen popped up. Are you sure? No, I was not sure. I did it anyway. a jolt of pure, uncut panic. The protocol said to write down one achievement. I found a crumpled grocery list and scrawled on the back, "The screen is dark now." Truly an inspiration to us all. Day 2. The physical edit. The task. Get rid of one thing he left behind. My eyes landed on the stupid, ugly coffee mug with a cartoon bird on it. It sat by the sink, a monument to 1,000 mornings I now wanted to forget. I picked it up, put it in an empty box, and closed the flaps. A tiny funeral for an avian-themed piece of ceramic. It was pathetic. But the space by the sink was empty, my space. On the list I wrote, "The mug is gone. Look out, world. I'm basically fixed." Day 3. The sensory grounding. Go outside, stand still for 5 minutes, and just listen. I went onto my balcony. At first, all I could hear was the frantic screaming of my own thoughts. But I forced myself to focus. A dog barking. The low hum of the freeway. For 300 seconds, my brain wasn't running its usual stalker OS. It was just off. My achievement, I heard a car alarm. The Nobel Prize Committee should be calling any day now. The next days were a parade of these insultingly simple tasks. Day 4. I created something, which meant I made tea. Day 5 was movement, so I did 10 clumsy jumping jacks. Day 6 was about observing a thought of him and letting it pass like a cloud instead of grabbing onto it and riding it straight into a hurricane. Most were thunderstorms, but eventually a smaller one floated by and I just let it go. This morning was day 7. I woke up and for a few seconds there was just silence. The first thought in my head wasn't about Netflix or him or her. It was, my throat is dry. It was so simple, so beautifully selfish. A thought about me. Later I was putting on my shoes and it hit me. I hadn't checked. I hadn't even had the urge to check. The frantic buzzing itch in my thumb was just gone. The phantom vibrations had stopped. The silence in my apartment wasn't a threat anymore. It was just quiet. So I'm laying out this whole ugly, shameful map of my private hell because I know what the bottom of that well feels like. I know how you can convince yourself the drowning is permanent. I never believed a stupid, sterile to-do list from a stranger could be a lifeline. And it didn't magically fix me. The scar is still there. But it was an anchor. Each tiny, ridiculous step was a link in a chain that let me pull myself out of the deep, dark water and back onto solid ground. It didn't stop the storm, but it held me in place until it passed. And if you're out there, adrift in that same storm, maybe a ridiculously simple anchor is exactly what you need.